G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing on this lovely late afternoon? It is cold, but it is sunny finally. Winter is a fun time, so every video is going to be cold these days. I love it, man. Woo! But I do have a fun topic today, ladies and gents, for all of you bikers who are looking to get into the riding scene. But before we get into that, g'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. My name is Nathan. I make videos on motorcycles and whatnot. You guys keep enjoying them, so I'm going to keep on posting them. But ladies and gents, today's video is one that we younger guys or girls have to face. And yes, I know the name of this is specific to one parent, but it's the both, don't you worry. But how do you convince your dear old mother dearest, or your dad for that matter, that it's okay to get a motorcycle? Alright? Now, unless you're coming from a heavily motorcycle family, you might find it's not so easy to do such a thing. I know for me, it's not. It's interesting because my parents both like motorcycles, but they're very against the idea of riding motorcycles, which is odd because my mum was hella obsessed with Harleys and that, which is funny to hear. And then when I talk about getting the bike, no, this is going to happen. I had a cousin or a relative that got their heads disconnected from their body, and you're like, ah. Anyway, I'm still interested in getting one, dear old mother. Now, I know it's not an easy thing to do unless, like I said, you come from a family of people that already ride bikes, especially if you're a reckless driver as it is. If you're a reckless driver, it's going to be a lot harder to convince a family member that you just let me get a bike, it's fine, it's just a bike, man. But look, there's a few things you can do to make it easier. If you have a bunch of friends that are riding already, you can be like, well, they're safe riders, I'll just ride with them. And look, if they're not safe riders, it might be a little bit harder to do such a thing. But look, you can only tell them so many times that you're going to be a safe rider, because let's be honest, all of us bikers, we know exactly what kind of riding we're probably going to do, and usually it doesn't start with extreme safety. Now, the thing about riding a bike is it doesn't matter how good you are at riding a bike. Yes, there is inherent risks about them, but you could probably improve your initial thing by saying, look, I'll take the classes to learn how to ride safer, do the emergency stops and that, just be like, look, I practiced my emergency braking and all that, I've done my research. Getting all of your gear to start with is a good start. I know that's still not enough to do the old convincing, but it's a good point. So once you've already bought your gear, you've already sort of put that wheel in motion. So I bought my gear before I got my bike, and then they were like, no, it's real. The reality's settling in, and you're like, hey, I told you, this is happening. You're not going to stop me from getting to this position. I'm going to get my bike. And now, look, they're always going to be against it in the beginning, those who don't want bikes, especially if you have a nurse as a mum or dad. God have mercy on you if you have that case, because they're always going to be, oh, I work in this department, I've seen what happens. You go, that's nice. I don't plan on being in that department. Now, I know I have friends who've had accidents that aren't exactly reckless riders, but it happens to the best of us. You're always going to have some sort of thing happen once or every blue moon. You're on two wheels. Now, look, you might go your whole life and barely have a straight, you might have a lot of close calls, you might never have an actual accident, but there's always going to be that inherent risk, and that's fine, all right? It's just learning to take it easier. So buy your gear, rock up to your house and be like, look what I bought. And they'll be like, oh no. Now, for me personally, I was told if I buy a motorbike, I'm going to be kicked out of my house, all right? Now, that's a pretty good threat to throw to someone my age in this day and age, in this economy, because I know damn well I cannot afford to live outside of my house, no matter what job I was working, because Australia is expensive as hell to do anything. And if they did truly stick forward with that threat, game over. I'd be, well, I would have lived with my girlfriend at the time, but that really wasn't my plan. So, rock up with your gear, that's step one. Number two, I went to go get a quote for my bike originally. Okay, that's what I did, and I'm being serious. I genuinely went to go get a quote. I went with my girlfriend, we went and had a look, I got my quote. And she goes, why don't you just buy it now, Nathan? And I'm like, I can't afford to buy the bike right now. And she goes, I'll spot the difference if the bike gets here early. So we did that, and I said I'm only buying the bike if this happens. The guy promised me 6 months, and I go, well, if the bike comes any earlier, I'm not coming to go buy it, mate. This is the arrangement. So if it comes in earlier, I'm not going to come in and pay for it because I can't afford to until this timeline you've given me. And only with that timeline is it going to be acceptable. And I went, okay, and he went, fine, no worries. So the bike came in 4 months instead of 6, and they called me and said, your bike's ready. I went, that's nice, you can hold it for 2 months because I can't afford it yet. And I told you this, and they went, ah. And I'm pretty sure they could have been like, too bad you signed it. And if they did, it would have been absolutely horrible. But it's bloody front breakers keep scraping on my bike. So basically, I told them, not too bad, and I went and after 2 months later, so the 6 months line, I went and picked up my bike, and they were all happy about it. But guess what? Because I sort of put them in their place, I went, too bad, you told me this, and I said yes to that, and only that. But the thing is, I went and bought my bike. And then I came home and I told my parents, I go, how's the quad? I go, I bought one. They go, huh? How much? And they were like, I told them the 10 grand. They go, how'd you afford this? I'm like, don't worry, I've been saving. Which wasn't a lie. I was good at saving when I worked a full-time job. So basically, bought the bike, and that was it. And that's my point. Sometimes you sort of just got to do it, regardless of what they tell you, because look, no one is usually happy with these things, parents especially. So they go, how the quote goes, and I go, bought it. Now, if you're buying a second-hand bike, you can quite literally just rock up at your house with the bike. Now, if you go and do your license test before you buy a bike, so I already had bought my bike, and then I was going to do my license test later, so I basically got my license probably about 2 days before my bike actually got delivered to my house, which is pretty funny. But have your license, have your gear. Now, you're not only legally allowed to ride one, you've got your protection, which is already like a safer precaution for your parents to be like, oh, well, I guess you're going to get that bike now, huh? And you go, yep. Now, if you just go buy a second-hand bike and you rock up to your house, they might yell at you, they'll be pissed at you. But guess what, at the end of the day, tough shit, you got your bike now. So there is no true convincing, all right, in the pure sense. You can tell them that you're going to commute and save money on petrol. Now, if you're really struggling because you're going a long distance and you're spending a shitload of money on petrol, that might do it, because bikes are cheaper to commute with. It's a fact of life, okay? Spending $10 on petrol every week or two as opposed to $80 of petrol a week or more, that's a decent chunk of savings, man. And as a biker, you're going to be like, my wallet thanks me. Sure, you got to spend a bit of money up front to get the bike, but guess what? You're still saving money on the petrol every week, every time you ride. So if that's not convincing enough, you just got to buy the bike and rock up. Now, that's basically like my biggest point for you. Just buy the damn thing. Now, in most places, you have to be 18 to ride a motorbike or whatnot. So if you can get it at 16, it might be a little bit harder, because technically they can still stop you from riding it, because they are your parents. They are still legally allowed to be like, yeah, you're not touching that. No, you're in my house, my rules, etc., etc. You're not an adult yet, so yeah. But if you're 18, tough shit. You're an adult now by law, and according to the cinemas, you're an adult by the time you're like 15 or something. But so once you pick up your motorcycle, you just sort of got to be like, well, she's staying now, I can't get rid of it, I'm not going to get rid of it, I'm going to go for a ride. And then you just take it out for a ride. Now, the more you ride your bike and the more times you clearly prove you're not being a dickhead on the bike, because that's an important thing that you sort of got to get out of the way, is the more you ride it and the more times you come home, the more comfortable they're going to get with you and the idea of riding the bike. Like, there are still some days now, and I've been riding for nearly 4 years, and I ride a lot, but like, there are still days now when my mum will be like, you're not going out on the bike. It's windy. It's gonna be, the weather's not good. It's too trafficy. The time of year, the holiday season's banned. I'm like, anyway, goodbye. So there are still going to be those days where your mum, your partner, and all that might still tell you that's not a good idea. But at the end of the day, you're your own person. Now, the one thing I will agree with, if you do get that gut feeling telling you probably shouldn't go for a ride, I'd say listen to it, because my mate had that, and then he ended up in a crash that nearly cost him his life. Sometimes the universe will send you all of the warning signs to be like, look, it's probably not the best idea right now, maybe stay home, and look, you might still let your ego take over and be like, well, I'm not doing that, it's dangerous, but I don't care, I feel like I shouldn't, but I'm gonna because I want to, you know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta listen to your gut feeling, because sometimes the universe is telling you, hey man, it's probably not the best idea right now. There might be an oopsie that happens, and you don't want to be that guy that gets wiped off the pavement because you didn't listen to your instincts. I know intuition's a weird thing, because it's like, oh, is it real, is it not real? But sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and be like, look, I'm not going to risk myself because it's dangerous right now. And sure, the inherent risk is not happening, but something is telling me I shouldn't do this, and that's exactly when you should listen to it. Because I've seen it happen where people ignore this intuition, and the worst thing happens to it. Now, sometimes it might just be that you're looking out for danger, and now you make the danger appear, like, you know, manifest it, as the white ladies say. And you don't want that to happen, because motorcycle ouchies hurt a lot more, and it takes you a lot longer to recover from them. So if you can avoid them, I would say do your best, because they hurt, man. So yeah. But quite literally, the best piece of advice I could say is buy your gear, get your license. That's your two biggest points of convincing out of the gate. They might not be happy with it, and they probably never will be. But once you've already got the wheels in motion, that sort of puts that mentality in. They're like, okay, they're serious about this. I've warned them as much as I can. It's sort of in their hands now. Now, the third and final nail on the coffin is when you just buy the bike. Because once they see the bike in physical form, they might be like, oh God, no, you're not riding that. No. And you'll be like, too bad, it's mine now. It's legal. I can have it. She's enjoyable. and you take it out for a few rides, and then they get more comfortable, and the more you ride it, the more they realise that this is what you're doing now. For me personally, that's basically what happened. It was always like, nope, don't take the bike out for a ride. And you go, that's nice, I'm going to go out for a ride, I'll see you in an hour or so. And the more and more you do that, they go, where are you going? I'm taking the bike for a ride. Okay. So in some cases, they're never going to be happy that you decided to do this, but at the end of the day, you just don't care. That's how you do it. Your life is your own choice, man. So sometimes you sort of got to just do it, as it were, because you don't want to have any accidents and scare them even more. Because sometimes you just got to just do it, man. Because sometimes in life you got to sort of make your own choices, and that's the ones that, that's when you grow up and do your own thing. You aren't going to live by your parents' rule forever. Now, if your girlfriend or whatnot says too bad, well, that's a bit harder because you're stuck with them. But guess what? If my girlfriend told me no, I would have laughed and said, that's nice anyway. I'm still going to do it. Because I've always been interested in the motorcycles, and I wanted a motorcycle, so I got a motorcycle. So if your wife says no and you have kids, it might be a little bit harder. Now, if you've got the money and you know you're not going to spend it on something stupid because you've got other expenses, if you can comfortably afford a motorbike with kids and that, go for it. Your wife might be pissy with you. And that one might be one of the harder decisions to sort of convince because, well, what if she threatens divorce and takes your kids away from you, man? No, let's not get there. She might just get pissy with you, but if you really, really sell the idea of, I want this is what I want to do, I'm really keen to do it, I'm looking forward to this, I've been wanting to do it for my whole life, maybe she might be upset with you, but she's still willing to absolutely help you out. Old mate on his little dirt bikey thing there, he looked a bit young to be riding one of those, but you know what, I don't really care. Old mate wants to do what he wants to do, he can do that. Ooh, we got the roadworks again. The never-ending story of roadworks everywhere I go lately. I don't even understand why they bothered doing the curbs here, because it was really not necessary, dude. Busy. You got another bike over there. The old Harley Davidson, man. You gotta love that. But yeah, ladies and gents, sometimes, like I'm saying, the convincing isn't easy, alright? Sometimes you just sort of gotta do things and dive into the deep end and get yelled at because, well, that's just what you got to do sometimes, man. But guess what? The more you do that and the more you just take the chance, the more life will be enjoyable sometimes. So sometimes getting yelled at can lead you to a lifetime of joy and an entire new lifestyle of fun with motorcycles. So I know that you might have been looking for a little bit more of a concrete, convincing story, but telling you, the best thing you can do is to just do it and buy it and get yelled at, because getting yelled at is temporary, but the motorcycle is a lifetime experience. Now, you might not like it and give it up, and in that case they won, but if you end up loving it, well, they can yell all they want, but you've still got the bike. So what's the worst that's going to happen at that point? Getting yelled at is not that bad. I like how he slowed down the moment I crossed over. Like, he was just in my way, that bloke. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have time for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like I said, just do it. Dive in. Deep end. Get yelled at. It's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. They're not going to hate you for it. They might be upset with you, but guess what? Life moves forward, and your bike certainly does too. So let me know how you guys did it down below in the comments or in the Discord as well. Link is in the description. And yeah, tell me your stories. Otherwise, take it easy. Keep it cheesy. It's time to love you and leave you. Let me take this corner first, because everyone here sucks. But yeah, peace. Bye!